I am notorious for bringing up awkward things like, how's your vagina doing at social gatherings? Hey friends, Nicole here, and I love asking moms and women in general about how their vaginas are doing because nobody else is asking them. I don't know if you even know this about me, but I am actually a pelvic floor physical therapist specializing in working with just moms, and I've had 2 vaginal deliveries myself. The first one, which actually ended in an episiotomy that was a terrible recovery, and I'm not even going to get into all the details about that, but I had a long journey to get back to having comfortable sex again. And through that journey and through my experience of working with other moms in my practice, I realized nobody's asking them about sex. A lot of times you go to your 6-week appointment, they say, yes, you can start having sex again, but nobody tells you what to do if it's uncomfortable, if it's painful, if you're not able to do it at all. Like, what do you do? What's next? And so I love to be able to see women or work with them virtually or in person, but sometimes that just isn't an option. And so sometimes we need to get out fun tools like this. So along with awkward questions, I also have awkward things like this around my house. And luckily this is just for demonstration purposes with my patients, because my son pulled it out of my bag 2 days ago and was like, look mom, it's a snake. He says snake, but it's a snake. And it was eating his pretzels and the whole thing. So luckily this is clean. But what this is actually for is addressing trigger points and painful points in your vagina. So in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how to use this Intimate Rose Vaginal Wand and why you would want to use it. As I said, this Intimate Rose Vaginal wand is great if you are, one, not able to tolerate anything being inserted into your vagina. This could be used to desensitize the area, get you used to things just being in your vagina in general. They also sell dilators. I work with this company and also Soul Source, and I've done multiple videos about using dilators, which is basically getting used to bigger and bigger things being inserted into your vagina. But this vaginal wand specifically is for people that can tolerate things entering their vagina and penetration with intercourse, but there are like painful spots inside. A lot of people don't realize that our vagina is made up of a bunch of pelvic floor muscles, and those muscles get tightness, get soreness, just like our neck. It's not unusual for us to think about getting a neck massage to address all the knots in our neck, but nobody ever talks about the knots that could happen in your vagina. And if you think about carrying a baby for 9 months and then birthing the baby, especially if it was a vaginal delivery or there was any natural labor at all, that is a lot for a vagina to go through. And so of course those muscles are going to be a little bit angry, a little bit tight and upset sometimes, and that can lead to pain with intercourse. We don't want to stay in that place though. If you can see a pelvic floor physical therapist in person, that's awesome. They can use their finger to address those trigger points. But sometimes that's not available. Sometimes you need to see a therapist virtually. And so using a tool like this vaginal wand can be so helpful. The first thing you need to know about this is when you receive this, no matter where you order it from, but if you order it from Intimate Rose as well, you want to make sure you wash it. You can even actually put this in boiling water to like sterilize it, or you can just use warm, mild soapy water and make sure this is nice and clean, and always store it in a place that's clean unless you're going to wash it before you use it each time, because we don't want any yucky stuff, bacteria going into our bodies, because we are going to be using this internally inside our vaginas. The second thing, you want to make sure you have an environment that is very relaxing, calming, and you're not stressed about being interrupted. So doing this when your kids are running around the house, or that they might walk in any moment because you don't have a lock on your door, you might not want to do it at that time, because the whole point of this is to create an environment like any other massage where you're totally just relaxed so that we can get rid of those trigger points. So once you have it clean, once you're in a nice, comfortable, relaxing environment, you want to make sure that you have a good lubricant. There are lots of different kinds of lubricants out there. The main takeaways are that there are water-based lubricants. This brand is Pure, I think, but it's PJUR. Or there's oil-based lubricants. This is just a coconut oil. You don't want to use oil-based lubricants on something like a silicone vaginal wand like this, because this could actually break down the material that this is made out of. So sticking with either a water-based lubricant or a silicone-based lubricant is the way to go when you're using something like this vaginal wand. But you do want to use a lubricant, especially because this probably isn't happening in a moment of actually being turned on, and you're probably not producing your own lubricants. So you want to make sure we use lots of artificial lubricant to make sure that entry and the massage actually feels comfortable. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the lubricant and you're going to put it on the end of your wand, whichever end you are using, which let's talk about that. This actually has two different ends. One is a little more pointed. It looks a little bit more like male genitalia, versus this end, which is, there's no like point at the end. This, according to Amanda, who's actually the physical therapist who created this tool, she uses the pointed end, or recommends the pointed end, if you are using it for things more external, like right at the opening of your vagina basically, and to use this end that is just all one circumference, I guess, all the way around. Use this if you're going a little bit deeper. You can use this however it is comfortable for you, but when you're first getting started, that might be where you would want to start. So you put the lubricant on the first inch or two of whatever end you're going to use, not both ends, otherwise your hands will end up in all that gobbledygook. The other thing as a prep step is you might want to put something like a towel down. I have, just a small hand towel. When I work with patients, I use something like, it's called a chuck pad, but it's just like a puppy pad basically, just so that you can throw it away or wash it at the end of your session or your treatment or your activity, whatever you want to call it, if you don't want to make a mess. Now, if you're using a water-based lubricant like this, it will wash right out of your sheets. There is no staining at all with a water-based lubricant, but just to avoid having to do more laundry, because that's the last thing that we need as moms is more laundry, you can just go ahead and put down a towel or something. So you have the lubricant ready and on there. You want to be in a nice laying down position. Now you could put pillows, extra pillows behind you so you're sitting up a little bit, but you do want to be pretty much laying down with your knees bent so that you have easy access to your vagina at this point. How Amanda recommends getting started, and I totally agree, this is a great way to start using your vaginal wand, is before you even insert this, just lay still and do some belly breathing. I have whole videos on belly breathing, which I can link above, but the main idea is that you are going to just inhale, completely fill your belly up with air and feel your pelvic floor muscles just relax, and then exhale and get all the air out of your belly and gently squeeze your pelvic floor muscles up and in. Inhale, fill your belly up with air, completely relax everything. Exhale, draw all the air out of your belly and blow it out through your mouth. This is going to just help with overall relaxation of your body. It's also a great way to help your pelvic floor muscles realize the difference between open and relaxed and closed and tightened, because when we go to insert whatever end of the wand we are using, we want to make sure our pelvic floor muscles are relaxed. So this is exactly what I do and teach with my clients, and I am going to use this little orange for demonstration purposes because it kind of does look like our vaginas. So when you are going to insert, just for size purposes, we're going to use this end of the wand. You want to go ahead and inhale, open and relax your pelvic floor, and just start to insert the vaginal wand. Stop inserting as you exhale, because that is going to be the time your pelvic floor muscles are a little bit tighter. Going to inhale, relax your pelvic floor muscles, fill your belly, and insert the wand just a little bit further. Once you're inside, you're going to basically probe around, shift the angle of the wand until you find a spot that feels sore. And you'll know that it's sore because when you push on it, just like if someone put their hands on your neck, you'd be like, ooh, that's a little bit tight, that doesn't feel so good. And when that happens, you're just going to hold a light pressure there with the wand. So you want to think about if you were holding this up to a banana or avocado or something that like bruises really easy, you're putting enough pressure to like hold it there, like you wanted to hold a piece of paper between the orange and this wand, but you don't want to squish it and make juice go flying everywhere or bruise the banana or the avocado. So you're just holding a little bit of slight pressure there. Then you're going to move your leg either out or in, straighten your leg, bring it up towards your body. Just change the position of the leg of the side that the trigger point is on. So if it's on the left side, like I am here, you would move your left leg around. and move it until you feel like, oh, I can't even really feel pain or discomfort anymore. You're just holding the wand, that same pressure right there, and you're holding your leg in the position that's most comfortable, and you hold it for about 1 to 2 minutes. There's no voodoo magic going on here. This is actually a technique called strain counter strain, and all it means is that we are putting the muscle in a position of comfort. We're holding it there for 1 to 2 minutes, and it resets the tiny little brains and the nerve endings within that muscle. When we do that, I would be willing to bet that when you move your leg back out of that position and you're still holding that wand on that same spot, and now when you give a little bit of a press, there's going to be a lot less pain there. It's really crazy that it works. It's not like a deep massage where you're pushing. Like I said, it's just lightly touching it. This wand isn't actually doing anything. It's getting your leg in a position that's comfortable. That's actually what's resetting everything and making things more comfortable. If I were working with a patient after I did that and they're like, yeah, that feels a lot better, I would just keep moving my finger around, and you're going to move your wand around until you find a new place that's also uncomfortable. And you're just going to work all those different spots until either you run out of time for self-care for today, or you feel like, wow, I think I've got them all. This is so simple and something you can do on your own. A lot of times even when clients are seeing me and working with me, they're like, what can I be doing when you're not here? And something like this is exactly what you can be doing. Because in order to make sex comfortable again, you need to make the environment where sex happens, which is your vagina, comfortable and happy again. If you try to insert something into your vagina and it's sending up red flags of pain and discomfort and I don't want anything in here, there's no way you are going to experience pleasure. There's no orgasms that are going to be happening in that moment because your body can't do both. So I found a ton of success with this personally after my episiotomy, and I've also used these techniques with clients time and time again. And eventually, after working with a therapist or just using this tool, they're able to say, like, I actually like sex again. I actually can have orgasms. And that is amazing news. That is the goal. Now, I realize that postpartum sex is a lot more than just addressing trigger points with a therapist or a wand. There are so many factors when it comes to postpartum sex. That is why I created this webinar up here. I took a deep dive into all the most common questions that moms have after having their babies. I got my husband's opinion on the topic and I threw it all into this webinar. So definitely go check that out next.